Hello guys! You want to memorize the N-400 vocabulary definitions easily? This lesson is all you need. We provide 90-word definitions that are all you need to learn, along with the 37 yes/no questions based on the new form N-400. The definitions are very short, so I believe you can remember it in a short time. Please try, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you, and have a great day. What does claim to be a US citizen mean? To state you are a US citizen. To state you are a US citizen. What does claim mean? To say something is true. To say something is true. What does vote mean? To elect new leaders. To elect new leaders. Can you explain what register is? To sign up. To sign up. What does overdue mean? Past a deadline. Past a deadline. What does owe mean? To have a debt. To have a debt. Can you explain what owe taxes means? To owe the government money. To owe the government money. What does Communist Party mean? Like China, North Korea. Like China, North Korea. What does advocate mean? To support. To support. Can you define totalitarian party? Government controls everything and people have no power. Government controls everything and people have no power. Do you understand what non-resident alien is? A person who has not passed the green card test. A person who has not passed the green card test. Do you know what kidnap means? To take someone away illegally. To take someone away illegally. Do you understand what sabotage is? To destroy something. To destroy something. Can you explain what overthrow is? To remove a government from power. To remove a government from power. What does hijack mean? To stop and steal a moving airplane. To stop and steal a moving airplane. Can you explain what assassination is? An action of killing someone. An action of killing someone. Do you understand what torture is? To hurt someone physically. To hurt someone physically. Can you explain what incite means? To encourage. To encourage. Can you explain what genocide is? To kill a whole race. To kill a whole race. Do you understand what military unit is? A group that works for the government. A group that works for the government. What does paramilitary unit mean? Like a military group, but it is not official. Like a military group, but it is not official. What does vigilante unit mean? A group that acts like the police, but are not the police. A group that acts like the police, but are not the police. Can you explain what police unit means? A group that protects a community. A group that protects a community. What does guerrilla group mean? A group that uses weapons to attack the government. A group that uses weapons to attack the government. What does national origin mean? Where a person is from. Where a person is from. Can you explain what rebel group is? A group that fights a government. A group that fights a government. Do you understand what self-defense unit is? A group that protects a place. A group that protects a place. Do you know what prison means? A place where prisoners are kept. A place where prisoners are kept. Do you know what detained means? Held in custody by police. Held in custody by police. What does prison camp mean? A place to keep enemy soldiers. A place to keep enemy soldiers. What does jail mean? A place where prisoners are kept. A place where prisoners are kept. What does detention facility mean? A place where people are forced to stay. A place where people are forced to stay. Do you understand what labor camp is? A place to force people to work. A place to force people to work. What does threaten mean? To warn to hurt someone. To warn to hurt someone. Can you explain what weapons training means? To learn how to use a gun. To learn how to use a gun. What does weapon mean? Like a knife or gun. Like a knife or gun. Do you know what paramilitary training or military type training is? Learning to fight in combat. Learning to fight in combat. Do you know what enlist means? To sign up in the armed forces. To sign up in the armed forces. Can you explain what hostilities means? Fighting in a war. Fighting in a war. What does recruit mean? To ask. To ask. What does conscript mean? To require someone to join the army. To require someone to join the army. Can you explain what crime is? An action that breaks the law. An action that breaks the law. Can you explain what arrested means? Handcuffed by the police. Handcuffed by the police. Can you explain what commit a crime is? To do something that breaks the law. To do something that breaks the law. What does offense mean? A minor crime. A minor crime. What does cited mean? Given a ticket by police. Given a ticket by police. What does confined mean? To be kept in a place. To be kept in a place. What does suspended sentence mean? Delaying of a sentence. Delaying of a sentence. Can you explain what charged means? Police tell you that you did something illegal. Police tell you that you did something illegal. Do you understand what parole is? The early release of a prisoner. The early release of a prisoner. Can you explain what probation is? You report to an officer regularly instead of jail time. You report to an officer regularly instead of jail time. Can you explain what prostitute is? Someone who has sex for money. Someone who has sex for money. Do you understand what manufacture means? To make something. To make something. What does procure mean? To find someone for sex. To find someone for sex. Do you understand what produce is? To make something. To make something. Can you explain what dispense means? To supply something. To supply something. Can you explain what cultivate is? To grow plants. To grow plants. Do you know how to define controlled substances? You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions. You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions. What does distribute mean? To supply something. To supply something. What does smuggle mean? To take things to a country illegally. To take things to a country illegally. Do you understand what drug paraphernalia is? Equipment to make illegal drugs. Equipment to make illegal drugs. What does illegal drugs or narcotics mean? Like heroin or cocaine. Like heroin or cocaine. Can you explain what immigration benefit is? Things like visa, green card, or citizenship. Things like visa, green card, or citizenship. Do you know what gamble means? To play a game for money. To play a game for money. Do you understand what pay alimony means? To pay money to an ex-spouse after a divorce. To pay money to an ex-spouse after a divorce. What does dependent mean? Someone who relies on another person. Someone who relies on another person. Can you define public benefit? Welfare, like food stamps. Welfare, like food stamps. Do you know how to explain misrepresentation? To lie or give wrong information. To lie or give wrong information. Can you explain what fraudulent is? To claim something that is not true. To claim something that is not true. Do you understand what lie means? To say something that is not true. To say something that is not true. Do you know what false means? Not true. Not true. Can you define misleading? Giving the wrong idea. Giving the wrong idea. Do you know how to explain rescission? To take back a decision. To take back a decision. Do you understand what deport means? To force a person to leave a country. To force a person to leave a country. Can you explain what admission into the United States means? The right to enter the United States. The right to enter the United States. Do you know how to explain deportation proceedings? The process of removing a person. The process of removing a person. Do you know how to explain drafted? Being selected as a soldier. Being selected as a soldier. Do you understand what selective service means? Services in armed forces under law. Services in armed forces under law. Can you explain what avoid being drafted is? To prevent being selected as a soldier. To prevent being selected as a soldier. What does US Armed Forces mean? US military, Navy, or Air Force. US military, Navy, or Air Force. Can you define order of nobility? Like king or queen. Like king or queen. Can you explain what hereditary title is? A royal title, like prince or princess. A royal title, like prince or princess. What is form of government of the United States? Republic. Republic. Do you understand what Constitution is? It is the supreme law of the land. It is the supreme law of the land. Do you know what bear arms means? To own or use a gun. To own or use a gun. Do you understand what oath of allegiance is? A promise to be loyal to the United States. A promise to be loyal to the United States. Do you know how to define work of national importance? Tasks that are important to a nation. Tasks that are important to a nation. Do you understand what civilian direction means? A direction from a person who is not in the military. A direction from a person who is not in the military. Do you know how to explain non-combatant services? Services that do not involve combat. Services that do not involve combat. Can you explain what civilian means? A person who is not in the military. A person who is not in the military.